Good evening everyone, my name is Kaushik. I'm a co-founder of Ethereal Machines, a very unconventional startup from today's time. I want to start off my speech by showing you these two particular grade cards of a high school student. Quite a spotless record, isn't it? His classmates, this particular student's classmates, his teachers, his family members, extended family, everybody taunted him to get into one of the premier institutes of the country, be it law, be it medicine, be it science, be it arts, anything. But when the time came, fortunately or unfortunately, he couldn't get into one of these premier institutes. And that's when the barrage of theories started flowing around from the relatives and the extended family, more so from his classmates saying, oh, something must have gone wrong. And more than anything came the final judgment saying his career is doomed. If you're wondering whose report card this is, then it is my report card. None of those rosy comments which were flowing around ever affected me. It never bothered me. At the same time, there was one particular quote which I came across which left a deep impression on me. It says, the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. A quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt. This got me thinking a lot. And this particular quote was combined with a statistic that I came across which said, only 47 out of 100 children enrolled in class 1 reach class 8 in India. I managed to get a decent education and still people said that my career was doomed because I could not get into one of those colleges. What about these people? What about the lakhs of other Indians who would never really make it to any particular undergraduate college at all? So the first time I ever stumbled, it gave me a purpose that I want to work for the common man. I want to work for the fellow Indian. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. But no idea at that point in time how I'm going to do it. So what I started doing was I started saving up money. I had something called as an EDF, Entrepreneurship Development Fund, a small pouch. Every time I would see a 500 or 1,000 rupee note on my wallet, it would automatically disappear and find its way into that pouch and get deposited over there. When the time came that I had to invest in an idea, I invested in an idea for which I had always wanted to move in a direction towards. I co-founded Ethereal Machines with my classmate Navin Jain. I invested my time, I invested my efforts, I invested my saved up money from a lot of debate tournaments, prize money which I had collected. All of that went into Ethereal Machines. So what do? We make CNC routers. So what these machines do is basically you can provide it a design through a computer. It can be anything. And my machine will implement that design out for you on marble, granite, aluminium, acrylic, wood, any particular material you can feed my machine. So what my clients do is they buy my machine and they start businesses in different verticals. So tomorrow when you build your own house, and you want a nameplate with your name and your family's name imprinted on it. So you can go to one of my clients and he will put in a marble piece, inscribe out the name and give you that particular piece which you can fix at your house. So what we are doing is we are creating entrepreneurs. So my clients set up businesses. So we are setting up a sustainable living for our clients only and only by the virtue of having this one particular machine. But nothing is as rosy as it seems, right? So once we had the prototype, we started approaching the market. I was rejected quite a few times. I was thrown away from offices. I was shown the door quite a few number of times. Number of reasons, because I was young. I started this when I was in my final year. So because I was young, because I hadn't graduated yet, because we lacked experience in making technical products of such high precision. Umpteen number of reasons. That's also one of the reasons why I keep a beard now, because my clients think I'm older than I am right now. That's the sole reason I carry a beard. So I stumbled a lot many times. But you know, something kept me going. And every time I was thrown out of a particular office, and I would exit that office, and this is how I would be. I will be back. This is exactly my expression, and I never let that make me feel bad at all. So that's how I used to take each of these rejections. At this juncture, I would like to talk to you about one particular rejection that I faced. So an engineering college in Bangalore, they wanted to purchase a CNC router so that their students can make prototypes of the products they wanted to develop. So they wanted a CNC router so that they can cut out precision parts and then put it together and make it a fully developed product. So the secretary of the college and the principal of the college called me over to their campus and they said, please give a presentation, and if we like it, then we'll go ahead and purchase your machine. I said, wow, sounds good. So I went down to the college, gave the presentation. The secretary was very impressed. He said, Mr. Mudda, we're going to buy your machine. And I still hadn't netted my first order at that point in time. I said, wow, brilliant. So Navin was overjoyed, and Navin got outside the room and he started jumping. So the secretary said, why don't we meet next week at the same time? I said, all right, let's do that. So I went back, I prepared all the logistical documents and the invoices and the quotations and the blueprints, and the next week I showed up at the college again with the file. I stood at the door of the secretary's room and I knocked. And I said, may I come in, sir? He looks at me and he says, who are you? I said, well, I met you last week. He said, no, I don't remember. I said, CNC router, I gave you a presentation, I had lunch with you in this room. He said, oh, we've changed our mind, we don't want the machine anymore, get out. I wasn't even in the room to get out. I was at the entrance and I was shown the door right then. This is the point where you realize that rejections, stumbling is like fire. What is the first idea or the first reaction of yours or of anybody when you see fire? You're afraid. You fear it. Fire is known to destruct. But at the same time, fire is needed to melt a metal and mold it into something distinctive. Rejections are very similar. It can cause you deep amount of hurt. If you think about it, think about the last time you fell off stairs or you had some bruises on your hand, you would never be able to relive that degree of pain. But if you think about the last time you were rejected, you will be able to relive that pain to a certain extent because you know the emotions you went through and you might end up feeling bad as well, because that's the characteristic of being rejected by something. But again, it's up to you. You can let the fire leave scars on you, you can let the fire leave burn marks on you, or what you can do is you can let the fire mold you into someone who does not bother about the rejections, or mold you into someone who's quite unique, into a completely different shape in itself. So when I walked out of that room after that particular rejection, I used to have a diary with each client's name and phone number and details written, one client per page. I got out, I waited till I exited the college, sat across, went and sat on the footpath, opened up my diary, tore the page of this particular client, crumbled the page, and flung it as far as I could. And the next minute, I pulled out my phone, turned the page, dialed the number of the next client so that I could seek an appointment again. That's how we went about selling our machines. So after 63 rejections, I managed to net my first order. My first order, my machine was going all the way across the country to Punjab. So we worked day and night for this, and we built the machine. We packed it up in that kind of a crate. And this is a picture from the logistics company. So this is right before it was being loaded into the truck and it was to be sent to Punjab. 6 months of working hard, pursuing clients, 3 months of getting rejected again and again, and 2 months of building the first machine, and we finally have this. So once I reached Punjab, I went with my client to the pickup place of the logistical company at that particular headquarters of that city. And I was waiting for the truck doors to open so that I could see my machine there and I could feel happy about it. And this is what I saw. The crate was missing. There was a ton of materials on my machine. The sides were broken, the bed was damaged, the accuracy was completely compromised. The next morning, the client was inaugurating his shop. He was performing a function in the morning at 6:30. So this was somewhere around 9 PM when I saw it. I was extremely angry, my eyes were red, Navin was on the verge of tears. I tried shouting at the concerned person of the company. He said, sir, I can't do anything, I'm just sitting here, I didn't do any damage to this. I said, there's no point arguing in this. So we took back the machine to the client's place. 10:30 we reached there. 10:30 to 5:30, Navin and I worked incessantly. We did not stop. We corrected the entire machine overnight so that they could perform and inaugurate their workshop. the next morning. So of course the paint was compromised, but that was something we took care of later. So the next time I was dispatching a machine out of Bangalore, I went to another logistical company and I said, the last time I was sending a machine, this happened with me, and I can't afford to get this repeated. He said, don't worry, sir. We have the most foolproof mechanism in the world to ensure that this does not happen. So it sounds good, sounds like a confident man. I think I should give it to him. So he said, sir, I'll be back in a moment. Where's your crate? I said, yep, that's my crate around there. You can have a look at it. He said, okay. So he goes inside. I thought he was going to bring in an expert who's going to convince me that, my package is safer with them. But in turn, he walks out with a marker, walks up to my crate and writes ex-army. Looks at me and he says, sir, nobody's going to mess with the people who have guns. Do not worry, now nothing's going to happen to your package. I saluted him, but it worked. So that's how my second note, later my machines were being dispatched. That's Navin, my co-founder. Very recent picture. So eventually we grew in size. We grew from a 280 square foot workshop to a 4,000 square foot workshop. Now we have a team of engineers who help us in building the machine. But you know what I love most about the work we do? The kind of entrepreneurship we create helps my clients to gain a new recognition. Some of my clients are from marginalized sections of the society. People from marginalized sections feel the pinch when society denies them of opportunities at places of interaction such as work or such as educational institution. Entrepreneurship helps them break away from these chains where they don't have to depend on anyone else and they can claim what's theirs by break away from the chains of oppression and discrimination by making their own opportunities or making their own destiny. So that's how entrepreneurship helps these kind of people, and that's why I'm glad my machines have been able to help people do that. So the next time you stumble, promise yourselves that you will stand up, dust yourselves off, and will not treat it as anything more than a momentary tumble, and you're going to take it heads on, and you will never feel bad about it. Very recently, a new member joined us on board at Ethereal Machines. And the new member ensures that the work level, work is at a conducive level all the time, ensures that the mood is always uplifted at our workplace, and is a huge and a very vital part of my firm, Ethereal Machines, right now. I'd like to sign off by showing you a picture of this new member with us and the entire team. Thank you for having me here. Keep stumbling and keep learning.